Welcome to another episode of Everyday Amazing. I am your host, Guy Alton, and tonight I have two women making positive impact changes on the Sacramento film scene. You don't want to go anywhere. It's going to be another amazing episode. Stay tuned.
Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton. Everyday Amazing. Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton. Everyday Amazing. Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Welcome back to the show. Tonight I have Renee Sava and Miranda Forcier. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for being here. First off, I want to start with you, Renee. Tell me a little bit about what you do and how you got into your field.
Yeah, so again, I'm Renee, and I am a writer and director. And my journey to get into this field, it began a very long time ago, about 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. I went to Sacramento State University and I majored in digital media.
Okay, stingers up.
Yes, stingers up, exactly. And I've always just been interested in the film industry and television. And while I was going to Sacramento State University, I also was interning at ABC 10 Sacramento to get my feet wet and get some experience in the industry. And that's what kind of light that fire. Like, I just got a little taste of working in television and broadcast. And now here I am 10, 11, 12 years later, and I just finished filming a television pilot in Sacramento with my producing partner, Miranda Forcier. So, yeah, a lot has happened in between that, but that's kind of the quick,
overview.
Quick story, yeah.
So I have a quick question. What did you do for Newsom? Because that kind of will tell me a little bit about what led to, you being a writer and producing.
Absolutely. So at ABC 10, formerly News 10, I started off as an intern.
Okay.
And as we all do. And I was so bold to ask for a job as a production assistant, and they ended up hiring me. I don't know why, but no, I'm just kidding. They ended up hiring me as a production assistant, and I was there for about 5 years, and I worked my way up to a technical director where I was working the control room and airing the newscasts. And I also worked as an editor, and then I was out in the field filming, and you're just kind of like a jack of all trades. And I loved it. I mean, I loved trying a little bit of everything. I just, have such a passion for television. And then after that, I always knew I had my sights set on working in the film industry. So I packed up and left and moved to LA, which was a hard move, leaving Sacramento, leaving my new family and everything. But it was an absolutely necessary move to kind of get more experience. And I was there for about 5 years.
Now, there's something I want to touch on. When you say you just packed up and left, did you have a job lined up or anything like that? Or was it just like, you know what, this is something I feel I need to do for myself, and I'm just going to go for it? Because a lot of people do that with LA. So I just want to clarify, were you one of the ones who say, you know what, this is what I'm meant to do, no job lined up, I'm just going to do it? Or did you, have something lined up, you had a plan? Or was it like, no plan, let's just go do it?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So when I did move, I did not, or when I had plans to move, I didn't have an official job lined up, but I did have a lot of interviews and a lot of people that I was really hopeful that would say yes. Fortunately, one of them said yes, and all you need is one yes. And that did happen while I was still in Sacramento, but I already had plans to move to LA. I already had my apartment lined up, roommates and everything. So it was just luck. But to answer your question, I always had my sights set on LA, whether I had a job or not. I knew that was a move that I needed to make.
Okay. So you make that move, right? And you're out there in LA and you're trying to network and make connections. Now, tell me how the script came to be.
Yes.
Because I understand it's based off your life, correct?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so the script came to be about my life in LA. And of course, everyone who moves to LA has their own unique story. So I didn't realize while I was, living and working in LA that I was kind of, the story was happening in real time. I didn't realize it at the time, but there were so many great positive moments. I had some low moments too, but there were so many times I would just laugh to myself when things would happen, and I was like, this is going to be a TV show one day. This has to be a TV show one day. You can't make this up. Just the crazy things that seems to only happen in Hollywood and Los Angeles. So I kind of started to plant the idea way back, years and years ago when I was first there. But at the same time, I still had to experience living and working there. So it wasn't until I had moved back to Sacramento that I finally had a moment to kind of process everything that had happened. And it wasn't until I started attending a screenwriting group in Sacramento put on by a CFAA that I really put pen to paper and started writing the script. Yeah.
Now, when you first get back to Sacramento from LA, did you know then that you were gonna write this all about your experience, and or was it just more so I know I want to talk about my life, but where do I begin? Where do I start?
I always knew it was going to be about my life.
Okay.
I knew how the story was going to start, but I didn't know how it was going to end, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
So it wasn't until I moved back that I kind of, I had this experience in LA. So now I kind of knew what the ending was going to be. But back when I first had the idea, again, it was all happening in real time, so I didn't know how my story was going to end yet.
Exactly.
So you could only do so much and write so much because I had to actually experience it, in real
Now,
life.
as yourself, as the subject of this script, what has been one of the most challenging obstacles in writing this script?
A lot of challenges and obstacles. I think being vulnerable has been the biggest challenge, because I think that's what kept my script in the dark for so long. I was afraid to bring it to the light because it was about me, and I'm exposing a lot about my life.
Right?
It's scary, a lot of vulnerabilities. I was recently diagnosed with ADHD about 3.5 years ago. And that is something that is unique and different about You Had a Bad Day, is that there's an underlying theme about mental health and ADHD that I think anyone with any kind of, struggling with mental health and that sort of thing can relate to. So that was something that even way back when, I originally didn't intend for that to happen, and it kind of just came out, and I've had such a positive response to me writing about that, mainly from cast and crew, because they know more in depth what the story is about. But I think that has been the most challenging, is writing a story that is about me and putting it out in the world and hoping people receive it well.
Receive it well, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so dear and personal to you. So if you get criticism, you feel like, wow.
You feel, it's personal, yeah.
Personal. It's not personal, it's just about the script. Well, I am the subject of the script, so when you say this, it's hard not to, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I like the fact that, you took that chance and was able to bring it out of the dark. I just want to know, and I want you to kind of expand on the courage and that moment when you say to yourself, you know what, I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna put it out there, because I feel like it's a very relatable thing, right? There's stuff that, not just stuff, but there may be others out there who are in a similar situation, right? Maybe they're fellow scriptwriters, or maybe there's something else that they want to do, but they're afraid of putting themselves out there. So, maybe if you can speak to that moment and how you got over that, that might actually help somebody else kind of get over that. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think my biggest fear was that I was too late, even though I don't think I'm that old, but even in the film industry, you always feel like you're behind. I missed the train. It's too late. who am I to think that I'm a script writer when I haven't been doing it for the past X amount of years? So I think I definitely had that. I had imposter syndrome. Who do I think I am? After so many years of working in the industry, now I want to do screenwriting. That, and then also fear. And I think the best way to, I guess, proceed forward if you want to become a screenwriter or write a script or create a product or produce something, is the fear doesn't go away, but you just keep pushing forward.
I like that.
The whole time, like, for example, the first time I brought my script to CFAA, to my screenwriting group, I mean, I had a pit in my stomach. I was so nervous. This was the first time people were going to be critiquing my script in person. I was going to be sitting at a table with everyone telling me their notes and what they thought of it. And I was terrified. I told my husband at the time, I'm not going, forget it. I can't deal with this. And I'm so glad that I pushed forward and I pushed through that fear, because or else I wouldn't be sitting here today. So
I think that's really amazing, honestly, to have that courage. And since you brought up fear, I want to pivot to Miranda, because Miranda, you being an actor, right? I feel like that's something that you know all too well, right? Now, tell me a little bit about when you started acting, and then we'll get into more of like the fears and what goes into your career.
Fear is just unknown, right? It's, you don't know what's going to happen, and that's the scariest thing, because what if what you're thinking is actually going to happen, right? But what if it doesn't? Right. And I think, I'm just so honored that Renee trusted me with her story to get this produced, because I could sense that there was that fear. I'm not as close to it as she is.
Right.
So letting somebody else kind of take it and get it out there even more so than she already had. I hope I helped her get over that fear a little bit. But yeah, no, my background, so I was the head producer, casting director, and the lead actress in the You Had a Bad Day TV series pilot episode. I grew up in the industry. My mom is Forcier. She's been a casting director and producer here in Sacramento for 24 years. So in front and behind the camera. But that doesn't mean the fear goes away.
Right.
With this project specifically, this is the first time that I ever was a head producer. I've done casting with my mom, but this was all me. So my job as the producer was to gather the whole crew. My job as casting director was to gather the whole talent, formulate like all of our organization and structure, and get everybody on the same page per Renee's vision and dream, so that we can get this together. And that was very scary. There's a lot of really late nights, a lot of trying to sell myself when I hadn't been in the industry.
So, quick question. You said it was really scary. What was your biggest fear of this? Because it was new, so we know it's the unknown, but was there anything else?
Well, so I hadn't, I've been kind of in and out of the film industry. I'm also a fitness, nutrition, and life coach, so I've kind of gone my life has gone a lot of different avenues. I've had a lot of failures, meaning a lot of unknown things had popped up in my life that kind of pulled me back, and I had to restart. So when I got cast as the lead in her short film last summer, the You Had a Bad Day short film, that was my first time getting back into the film industry in 3 years. And then nothing again until the beginning of this year when I was looking for crew. So I really had to sell myself, use my history, my experience. Thankfully, my mom and I, people are aware of our experience and skill. But I had to prove to people, like, look, I know I haven't been in the film industry a lot the last few years, but it's only made me stronger. It's only made me a better actress. It's only made me a better woman, everything that I've been through. So the fear of, oh my gosh, I not only have Renee's reputation, but I have my reputation, my mom's reputation, and now I have 60 crew members following me into an unknown, right? When you're creating a passion project, you can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee anyone's gonna get paid, you can't guarantee it's gonna get picked up. But I just had to believe that no matter what, something good was gonna come out of this. And that's the way that I kind of break my fear, even with acting, is, you know what? You don't know what you don't know. So what if it turns out great? And if it doesn't, well, I've had a lot of trip ups, and I've fallen a lot in my past, and I've always gotten up. So who's to say I'm not going to get back up from this? And this time I have a partner to help me, to lean on, to pick up where I can't, continue. And it's been a huge blessing. So did that answer your question?
No, you did, and you were very honest in your answer. I think what you just described is a very real and raw emotion that a lot of people experience and go through, right? And so you being able to speak to it and really say how you got over it, and saying well, what if it does, become a success? You can't like not do something because you don't know like what's gonna happen. And you tackling on such a new task for you and being in charge of so many people and having so many people looking to you like, hey, like we're looking at you for like guidance, and we're hoping that everything works out because we trust you. I get it. It's almost like a production. I mean, what you did is a much bigger crew. I mean, I run a small ship here, but I still feel and want everybody to come out on top. And when it doesn't, or if I do something that I have an episode that doesn't go as well as I think it should go, I feel that I take it the hardest.
Well, I was gonna say, we have to keep in mind that what our final destination is, most likely is not gonna happen, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be a failure. Doesn't mean you have to be afraid of anything. And that's kind of what I used as my sales pitch, if you want to call it that, to getting these people on board was, hey, I can't guarantee that we're gonna get picked up, but that is the ultimate goal. I can guarantee you're going to meet amazing people. You're going to get more experience. This will lead to other jobs, because I had a lot of, every head of each department we had are well-known feature film crew members. So, knowing that you at least you're making these connections, those will lead you to somewhere that you're supposed to be. So it's just at least seeing some kind of hope, believing in yourself that something good is going to happen. It might not be your final destination that you have in your head. I
like that. We're going to touch more on it, but we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Hey, I'm Mr. V with Grant Drumline, and you're watching Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Welcome back to the show. I'm still here with Renee and Miranda, and before we went to break, man, we were breaking down some barriers. We were talking about overcoming fears and really believing in ourselves and taking the challenge of going after what you believe in and not thinking that it's not going to be okay, and just believing that, hey, like I'm going to go out there and do my best, and it's going to work out. And with all that said, before you guys actually did the pilot episode of this series, you guys actually were in the film festival last year.
Yes.
Right? And so I think we have a few images we're going to bring up, and then we'll have you kind of talk about it and tell us like what we're looking at. So right here, this is
that's us on the red carpet at a place called Sacramento last year. That basically how that all started was I took my script I was talking about earlier, and I went to the screenwriting group. And basically what happened was someone in that group came up to me and said, hey, have you heard of a place called Sacramento? And being that I had been living in LA for, so many years, I was like, no, what's that?
What's that?
And she said, well, you should take your script and you should, maybe, cut it down to about 10 pages, because at the time it was a very long script. And I was like, okay, well, my script has really nothing to do with Sacramento. At the time, it didn't.
Right.
But I completely, adapted the script to the film festival parameters and entered it, and I got selected. So
how did that feel? What was that moment like, knowing that like this script that you made about your life or whatever was, people read it and they said, you know what, we want to highlight this to Sacramento?
Very, very surreal. When I got the phone call, to be honest, and I'm not saying this to, come off so humble, but I really, truly didn't think I would get selected. So when I got that phone call, me and my husband, we were jumping up and down, and we were so excited. And but then after that, I did feel that sense of responsibility, to moving forward, and I really wanted to. This was my chance. I'd always wanted to do this. I always wanted to be able to produce my script into something tangible, something that, you can actually watch and view. So, I went ahead and I started producing my short film. I went to the CFAA cast and crew call. That's where I first met Miranda, even though it was very quick interaction, very, very fast. I met a lot of people that day and networked a lot. And after a lot of people had sent in some audition tapes, I watched hers and I was like, that's the one. She's she's the lead actress. So fast forward to the red carpet. We ended up filming the short film, entered it into the festival, and we got to watch it amongst our peers.
Now, what was it about her tape that stood out to you so much?
Was it the throw up scene?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I was supposed to be hungover in this audition and throw up on the camera. So
I think.
And you pulled that off. Well, all right, that's an actor right there.
We were all getting sick, behind the scenes.
Method acting, is that what it's called?
Oh, I've had a few days that were very similar to this audition, yes.
Oh, okay.
I think what really stood out to me about Miranda, though, was, of course, her amazing performance when we were actually filming, but it was her audition tape and just how authentic and real and raw it was. I felt like I was watching it happening in real time, and I mean, it took all of, a few seconds for me to be like, she's the one, that's it, because she was encompassing the lead actress, who again is supposed to be technically me, but, it's a different character, different name, but she just enveloped and encompassed that character so well. I mean, there's nobody else better to play that role, so.
That's amazing. I like that. We have a few other pictures we want to show for production, correct?
Oh, yep.
Oh,
so
yes.
that was the short film. That was filming the short film version, which I still do throw up in the TV pilot, but it looks a little different.
Okay.
There's a lot of throwing up.
Yeah, so this is kind of, the short film was always intended to be a proof of concept for the pilot. And, we could work out, anything that maybe didn't work or did work, we would obviously, carry on into the pilot. But the pilot is so much more developed and fleshed out, and I mean, it's such a multi-dimensional episode and series or intended series. So I mean, you can only show so much in 10 minutes in a short film, but our pilot is 44 minutes long. So I mean, we're gonna deep dive into Ariana's story so much more, and I think the audience is really going to relate to her experience and story.
Now, talk to me a little bit about that process, because I understand, like, normally you shoot a pilot, it was meant to be shot in like 2 weeks, but you guys did it in 6 days. So how did you pull that off?
Very carefully.
Yes.
Lots and lots of planning. We did a lot of things differently. Growing up in the industry, I saw, what works and what doesn't work on productions. I also knew we had no budget. This is a passion project, right? We still had to raise $15,000 to just do the bare essentials, but no one was going to be getting paid. We're asking a lot from people to dedicate their time for a 44-minute passion project, which usually passion projects are under 20 minutes. Like, it's unheard of for anything over that. No one wants to dedicate that time for free, right? Excuse me. So we started pre-production like 2.5 months early. And then we narrowed it all down into 6 days, and we're hoping that now we can have enough to show that we have something that's worth watching, and we're building an audience, and our goal is to find a distributor or a big investor who wants to pick us up for a full season.
First of all, I think you're going to achieve that, because I have witnessed the growth. So for those of you out there who don't know, I was actually at the PCS, and I was hosting some of the red carpet interviews, and that's where I met these two, and I just watched them grow. So from the film festival to like the promoting and trying to raise money, Miranda has done such a great job at just being an advocate for the film, and there's something I kind of want to touch on. You guys really advocate for female-led, production and team. So what does that mean? And I want you both to kind of like answer. What does that mean to you, Renee?
Yeah, I think having a female-led production is important in a male-dominated industry, and obviously I believe in equality across the board, because cast and crew was very diverse. It wasn't all women. But when we say female-led, like me and Miranda producing, me, directing and being the writer, and her, yes, yeah, and we had Sally Forcier as our consulting producer, who kind of stepped into a producer role, and then Miranda. We just wanted to, create this project that was female-led and something that,
But it wasn't the initial intention. I interviewed a lot of people for assistant director and second ADs and, producers and everything, and it just worked out that way. The majority of our crew, I would say it was pretty split, 50-50, but I would say more female, but in the crew side. But as far as the production crew, which is, us, producers, ADs, that was mainly women.
Well, I just say that because I really like that. I like that you women are advocating and actually taking the steps and doing the work to make a change and a positive change, right? And like you said, it's not like you're against equality. Of course you want equality, but we've often seen that there hasn't been equality in production and in the film industry with women to begin with. And so the fact that like you understand that and you're saying, hey, like if I have an opportunity to change that, why wouldn't I take advantage of that? Because I think that's so important. A lot of people talk about, this isn't right, or I wish it was like this. But then sometimes when they get in those roles, they do exactly what their predecessors did, right?
It's easier.
Yes.
That part, right?
And they're scared.
And you have never been scared, right? See,
I'm never scared.
And so I like that you guys are actually, or you girls are actually doing the work, and I can't wait to continue to watch it grow. And I honestly believe that you're gonna achieve that goal, and you guys are gonna get picked up, and it's gonna be great. The world's gonna see it. It's just gonna put Sacramento on the map, and then I'll think back like, oh, listen, I was one of the first people to interview them and have them, before they got all big and they don't answer my calls anymore, and now they don't want to return, they're too busy, I keep getting their assistant, But no, I want to thank you again for coming on the show and just sharing. You had a bad day. I hope everyone out there looks for it and tries to, donate and try to check it out, because what these women are doing is amazing. And so we need more people to do the same thing and follow their passion and do what they want to do in life. And so, if you like what these women are doing, please support, like, subscribe. They can catch you at You Had a Bad Day Instagram?
On all of our social media handles, mainly Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. You Had a Bad Day TV series is our handle, and then we also have a website, youhadabaddaytvseries.com.
Okay. You heard it here. And so next time, I'll see you then. This has been another great episode of Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton. Everyday amazing. Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.